Well, how you doing, guys and gals? It's me, George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, and I'm finishing up cleaning up my wheels. They've been hanging out here, this one anyway, for the better part of 2 weeks, and I had to add some more vinegar to it because it wasn't coming up halfway up. And instead of keeping adding more vinegar, I decided that there's enough room in my bin here. Why not displace some of the vinegar and push it up higher on the wheels, because I needed it to come up over my hubs. You know, it wasn't getting that far up, so it wasn't getting the middle part of the wheel. So here's what I did. I have my empty vinegar jugs, and I put them in there like that. They're full of water, and that brought my level right up. And so you can see I'm getting very close. In fact, this wheel is probably close enough that I can now wash it off, and whatever little bit of paint and rust is still left, I can do with a wire brush after I clean the vinegar off. Because as you know, when you use vinegar for cleaning, it leaves the metal bare, and it actually attracts and contributes to the rusting process. If you don't get that rust off of the vinegar off and stop the acid from doing its job. So this one is just about ready to go, and so I'll take you and show you the next part of the process after I get it done this far. You can see it's looking pretty good all the way down. Now I'll take you in and show you the rinsing process. So now we're in my downstairs bathroom. This is my, well, it also happens to be, let me turn my camera around here and show you what else is in here. These cabinets up in here have painting supplies and cleaning supplies and metal etching primer. My next door neighbor had a bunch of self-etching metal primer given to him, and he gave me a whole case of it. How cool is that? And then over here I have my various cleaning supplies. My main go-to cleaning thing is Totally Awesome, which I get at the Dollar Tree for $1. Great stuff, and I'll be using that now. And so yeah, and then I have spray paints that I've collected over the years and have traveled with me hither, thither, and yon. Over here you can see, if I close the door behind me or open it up further, how's that? That cabinet has model supplies and other painting supplies and so forth. And then the cabinet down underneath it has electrical supplies and wiring and doorknobs and hardware and stuff like that. Collecting things over the years, you know, because you get them when they're cheap, so you can keep on working, you know, and it doesn't cost you so much. So anyway, back to my cleaning. What I like to do is I spray my Totally Awesome all over here, and then I use a Scotch-Brite, if I can find a piece here, and I just clean it off with a Scotch-Brite and rinse it really good. Get the vinegar off. And the last little bits of rust that might be hanging out in different places. I get most of it off in here. But the finished work is done back out in the other part of the shop. The most important thing is getting this all rinsed off really, really well. If I don't get it rinsed off well, the flash rust will just keep right on coming. So there's one side, and then I got to do the rim inside. And you see, just using the Scotch-Brite takes off the remainder of the flash rust. And rinsing it thoroughly like this. I see some places like this where the rust is still in there pretty heavy. I'll have to use a heavy-duty wire wheel in there perhaps to get the rest of that out. That little bit wouldn't really matter. We're going to seal this with some paint. And ain't no doubt in my mind what color this is going to get painted. These wheels are going to be red. Yes, sirree, mob, red. And the next process is I use one of these dooflickies, and I will also be using a wire wheel. Use one of these kind of wheels, and I also will be using a wire wheel. And you get the idea. And then I will also be using more Scotch-Brite. And one final detail, and I'm going to bring you over here with the camera because I don't think you can see it from there. The last details are what you see down in here. See all those weld splatters? Yeah, I'm going to take a chisel first and clean those all off, and then I'll come back in with a wire wheel and finish cleaning that up as well. Then, once all that is done, then we'll be able to prime the wheel, and then before I paint it, got to take it back out to the shop, and I will weld my hub adapters on here that have the key slots in them for mounting to the axle. This slides over the axle, but we have no key slot in it. So I'm going to weld one on each side, and then it'll come back in the house for final paint. So that's the process we're going through. Those of you who have been following along know what these wheels look like when I started. Maybe I can find a clip and stick it in there so you can see what they looked like when we started. There it is, all clean, rust free, all the way around, both sides. She's ready for some primer now. A lot of work involved there, but it should be good. It's not perfect still, and I'm not going to try and make it perfect. These are, after all, farm implement wheels. I learned that the welding done on these was done with an arc welder. There was still slag on them after all of these years. So I chipped all the slag off, and yeah, looking pretty good. This is the better of the two wheels, but now it's time to put some metal etching primer on. Well, there we go, our first wheel in etch primer. Now to let it dry.